the weather business, we talk about records a lot, mainly temperature and precipitation. But the last few weeks, a different type of weather record has made news: air pressure. Now, when we talk about air pressure and highs and lows and show you isobars on weather maps, it's actually not the real air pressure. That's because pressure decreases with elevation, so pressure measured at weather observing stations will always be lowest in the highest elevations and highest in lower elevations. In other words, a map of station pressure would be very boring. The lows would be over the mountains, the highs would be over the lowlands and the oceans, and the map would always look like this. To find the highs and lows that cause weather changes, we have to filter out the effect of elevation. We do this by adjusting all pressure measurements to the same elevation, which is chosen to be sea level. And here's how it works. Basically, we create a fictitious column of air that stretches from the altitude of the station to sea level, and then estimate the pressure in that column, mainly by estimating the temperature of that air. The pressure in that fake column is then added to the pressure measured at the station to get what's called sea level pressure. And that's what we report to you and show on maps. It turns out that average sea level pressure is about 29.92 inches of mercury, which is around 1,013 millibars in the unit that we use operationally. Nearly all sea level pressures fall between 950 and 1,050 millibars. Outside those limits, you can be pretty sure that something extreme is happening. The highest sea level pressures occur in winter because when air cools, molecules come closer together and air becomes denser and heavier. So extreme cold breeds extreme high pressure. The highest sea level pressure on record, 1,083 millibars, was in Siberia at the center of a bitterly cold air mass in December 1968, while the highest on record in the lower 48 states is 1,064 millibars in Montana in December of 1983. Pressures the last few weeks weren't quite that high. Here we'll track last week's Arctic high using the official National Weather Service maps. I've shaded the areas where sea level pressure was above 1,050 millibars. The center of last week's high slid southeast into the plains. In contrast, the previous Arctic high back in late December settled into the northern Rockies, so some of that unusual chill and extreme high pressure leaked all the way to the Pacific Northwest coast. And as a result, in the last 2 weeks, about 10 cities set records for their highest sea level pressure, including North Little Rock, Arkansas, Des Moines, Iowa, and Omaha, Nebraska last week, and Seattle back in late December. In many of these places, pressure has been measured since the late 1800s. By the way, the record for highest sea level pressure in Pittsburgh is 1,048 millibars. In Philadelphia, 1,053 millibars. Neither record was in jeopardy the last 2 weeks. Paul is back next with the extended forecast.